Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB and today is the 14th of November 2022 and I'm looking at the price of the global crypto market in the early morning hours as per Gulf Standard Time. Now last week guys, we had a catastrophic week. There were the inflation numbers which were out, there was midterm elections which were out, and the biggest event that affected cryptocurrency negatively was the whole collapse of FTX exchange. And in today's episode, I'm also going to be talking about on LinkedIn. I'm seeing that everyone has turned out to be experts on FTX exchange, and to be honest, a lot of the information is kind of incorrect. So it's so critical when you look at information, particularly regarding FTX exchange, to do your own research and not just believe everything that you read. And in today's episode, we're also going to be talking about one of the OGs of the Bitcoin space and the OG of cryptocurrencies, that is David Chaum. And he is rolling out a privacy-protecting central bank digital currency technology and how the central bank of digital currencies could be the future most likely from 2023 onwards. And we'll also be revisiting proof of keys by one of the OGs of Bitcoin, that is Trace Mayer. Now listen guys, I was a massive fan of his when he used to have his podcast, but looks like he has disappeared. Now Trace Mayer in 2019 was a massive advocate of proof of keys, and he has selected January 3rd as the date where each and every individual were required to withdraw the cryptocurrencies from the cryptocurrency exchange. Now, if that idea was accepted by the industry and implemented, most likely the devastating impact of FTX exchange would have been less, but there would have still been similar projects that could have defaulted. So we're going to be talking quite a lot about that in today's episode. Now, regarding UAE, the first news that I'd like to talk about is the Sharjah International Book Fair, which was conducted last month, and it also carried forward to this month as well. And they did have a crypto knowledge section focusing on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and quite a lot more. And the second news is about EX Sports, which has strengthened its partnership with Jiu-Jitsu International Federation, and the athletes were given NFT. And we're going to be discussing how they have merged NFTs with Jiu-Jitsu. So definitely brilliant news. So welcome everyone, it's 18 here in Dubai and you're listening to Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi and Metaverse. And how the series of episodes on the Crypto and Coffee at 8 works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other news and information is related to Dubai, UAE and Middle East and the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi and Metaverse. And this is followed by Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions from the cryptocurrency world. And every Fridays, guys, I do have a Metaverse Everything podcast, where we cover everything regarding Metaverse. So please check out those episodes as well. And last week's episode, we did talk about how the FTX collapse had a massive impact on Metaverse and quite a lot more. And the format for Metaverse Everything podcast is completely different. And what I tend to do is I tend to publish a daily and weekly report via my LinkedIn profile. So please follow me on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn profile is on the show notes below. Now before we kickstart today's episode, we have an important message. So check this out. Firstly guys, Startup OI is global one tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, the 10th edition of the world-renowned flagship, that is Global Blockchain Congress, by Agora Group is taking place on November 23rd and 24th at Sofitel, Dubai The Palm, and there will be more than 60 speakers, 150 investors, 30 sponsors, and these sponsors offer Metaverse, gaming, NFTs, and DeFi projects looking to raise funds, 20 media partners, and more than 300 delegates. So listen guys, if you're a blockchain startup looking to raise funds, join Agora on this special edition on the Global Blockchain Congress and have a one-to-one meeting with pre-qualified investors. And this edition's main themes are digital assets regulations in the GCC, Web3 platforms, Metaverse, gaming and NFTs. Now remember guys, the spots are limited, so register online via the link in the show notes below, or go to Agora's LinkedIn page, or go to the website. All the details are in the show notes below. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called Rise in the Obstacle Course Race, and Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs, and these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform and search for Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast. And finally guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now, since you've taken care of that, let's look at the global cryptocurrency market. The global cryptocurrency market as of 14th of November is down to $825 billion. And just few weeks ago, we talked about how the global cryptocurrency market is showing some signs of bullish indicators because it did cross the $1 trillion mark. But unfortunately, because of the FTX collapse, the global cryptocurrency market has gone down by almost $200+ billion. Now, since the last 24 hours, it is down by 2.51%. And I'm looking at the price in the early morning hours as per Gulf Standard Time. The total crypto market volume is ridiculously low and down to $53.48 billion. And since the last 24 hours, it's down by 10.19%. And the total volume in DeFi is down to $3.84 billion. And this week, guys, I'm also going to be sharing the top 5 DeFi protocols, keeping in mind the total value locked. Now, the total value locked across all DeFi protocols is down to $43.08 billion, with MakerDAO accounting for 15.60%. And as of 14th of November, $6.72 billion is locked in MakerDAO protocol, followed by Lido. And as of today, $5.86 billion is locked. And the third one is Aave, and $4.65 billion is locked in Aave protocol. And the fourth one is Uniswap, which is a decentralized cryptocurrency exchange. And the total value locked is surprisingly not increased, because I was under the impression, because of the collapse of a centralized exchange, the total value locked should have ideally increased, but it is still the same and down to $3.76 billion. And the fifth and final one is Curve, and $3.75 billion is locked. Now listen guys, these volumes are ridiculously bad. 2022 has been one of the worst years for cryptocurrencies, and to be honest, the most impacted by global cryptocurrency market is the DeFi volume, followed by stable coins. Now if you look at the volume of stable coins, it's down to $49.48 billion, and when the whole FTX and Binance drama was taking place, the volume of all stable coins shot up to $185 billion. Now it's gone back to its regular volume, and Tether USDT accounts for $39.29 billion out of the $49.28 billion. Now listen guys, a lot of them are calling FTX exchange as the Lehman Brothers movement of cryptocurrencies, but Tether USDT could be the biggest black swan event for global cryptocurrency market. The impact of Tether USDT, if it goes belly up, could be 20 or 30 times worse than FTX and Terra Luna combined. So when I'm going to be discussing stablecoins, probably having a session on stablecoins, I'll definitely be exploring why Tether USDT has a notorious past. Now going back to the volume of stablecoin, USDC is $2.34 billion and Binance USD is at $7.27 billion. Now the volume of stablecoin accounts for 92.41% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. And guys, what I've been doing for the past few months is looking at the market share, 24-hour trading volume between Bitcoin and Ethereum. And the reason I started to do that is because I wanted to check if Ethereum would flip Bitcoin. And unfortunately, ever since the Ethereum merge day, the dominance of Ethereum in comparison to Bitcoin has been going down. Now today it is well below the 50% mark of Bitcoin's market share, and Ethereum's market share is $149 billion, and Bitcoin's market share is $314 billion. Now when Bitcoin was at its all-time high, only the market share of Bitcoin was $1.3 trillion. So looks like $1 trillion has been wiped off only from Bitcoin. So definitely one of the worst years for Bitcoin and also for the cryptocurrencies as well. Now the 24-hour trading volume of Bitcoin is $27.7 billion, and when the FTX collapse happened, the 24-hour trading volume of Bitcoin was well over $100 billion. Unfortunately, that means people were selling their Bitcoin. Ethereum's 24-hour trading volume is $10.6 billion. Now, if you look at the dominance between Bitcoin and Ethereum, surprisingly, guys, for the past 3 months or so, it has been relatively stable, and this is not good because ideally the dominance should actually go up or it should go down drastically. But nonetheless, the Bitcoin's dominance is at 38.20% and Ethereum's dominance is at 18.10%. And this week, guys, I'm also going to be looking at the market cap of privacy coins, and in today's episode, we're also going to be discussing how CBDCs are focusing on privacy coins. Now, Monero is currently an outlier, the market cap of $2.33 billion. Now, since the last few days, the market cap of Monero and pretty much all other privacy coins has increased. Now, does this mean that FTX are transferring their coins to privacy-preserving protocols? Most likely, yes, but we'll also be discussing where you can check the information on the transfer of cryptocurrencies, and this is one of the powers of open blockchain protocols. Now, Zcash market cap is $630 million and Decred is $288 million, followed by Mask Network, which is once again number 4 in this week, and it is at $201 million, and Harmony Protocol is at $178 million. So look at the difference, guys, between the number 1 market cap of Monero, which is at $2.33 billion, and Harmony, which is at number 5, is only at $178 billion. So Monero's market cap is almost 10 times of that of the 5th privacy coin. So that is definitely not ideal. And when you look at Pareto law, you'll truly understand that Monero is trying to be an outlier, which necessarily need not be a good thing. Now let's look at the price of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Binance coin. Bitcoin's price has gone down to $16,402, and since the last 24 hours, it is down by 2.52%, and since the last 7 days, it is down by 22.33%. Ethereum is down to $1,222, and since the last 24 hours, it's down by 2.95%, and since the last 7 days, it is down by 23.58%. Binance coin is relatively steady for the past few days. It is at $275, but when CZ had announced that Binance may be acquiring FTX, Binance was on the verge of reaching a new all-time high, and the price of Binance coin was roughly around $380 to $390. So almost $100 has disappeared from Binance coin. And since the last 24 hours, it is down by 2.40%. Since the last 7 days, it is down by 21.19%. Now guys, listen, there's a lot going on regarding FTX exchange, but in 2019, Trace Mayer, who's one of the Bitcoin OG and maximalist and the hodler of last resort, did actually launch proof of keys, and he did emphasize sovereignty privacy and Bitcoin cypherpunks ethos and the importance of proof of work keys. And he was a massive advocate of we as individuals to remove our cryptocurrencies from the exchange. And guys, one thing which I've said often on my podcast, if you read the Bitcoin white paper, the very second line of Bitcoin white paper reads, the main benefits are lost if a central mediary or entity is required to prevent double spending. So Trace Mayer has been a massive advocate and has been saying about proof of keys since a very long time. Now the reason why I wanted to bring this thing up is when I'm reading the LinkedIn reports, I haven't seen anyone mentioning anything about Trace Mayer. So all the credits regarding proof of keys does actually go to Trace Mayer, and he did select a specific date, January 3rd, and you should know by now why he selected January 3rd as the date, because that was officially the date when Bitcoin was launched. So what he did say was that by demanding and taking possession of their assets, individuals will learn very fast with blockchain proofs whether they are part of the elite hodlers or not. And he was saying that cryptocurrency exchange needs to show that they do have these funds. Let's say if each and every individuals were to withdraw the cryptocurrencies at the same time. And he did emphasize that proof of keys is the annual hodler initiation. Now, unfortunately, the industry did not accept it and did not follow through it. Now, if that thing would have happened, the drama of FTX exchange would have been relatively less. Now, what I'd really recommend you to do is go to Bitcoin Magazine on YouTube and search for a video by Trace Mayer. And he mentions everything as to the importance of proof of keys. And Andrew Antonopoulos has often been saying, not your keys, not your crypto. Now, that's not to say that such downfall of exchanges could not happen, because when you look at it from an exchange point of view, they need to make business and they need to lend their services to other protocols, because of which they get returns in quite a lot more. So it is possible that in the near future, such instances will occur so far as cryptocurrency exchanges are concerned. Does this mean that decentralized exchanges are the solution? To be honest, I don't think so. Because think of it, guys. If a decentralized exchange does have a privacy fault or does have a loophole and the system is hacked, all the funds are completely gone. Now, it could be possible that there could be some malicious activity going on in decentralized exchanges as well. So in LinkedIn, I'm seeing a lot of posts stating that now it's time for DEX to take over. Hold your horses, guys. Decentralized exchanges do provide a similar threat as well, because you need to understand that Bitcoin whales or cryptocurrencies will be taking over these decentralized exchanges, and the same manipulation will still be going on. So is decentralized exchange the answer? Unfortunately not. Is proof of keys the answer? To a certain extent, definitely yes. Now guys, the next thing that I'm going to be talking about is a massive news in the world of central bank digital currencies, and the project is called as Tourbillon, and this is done by none other than David Chaum. Now listen, if you are into the cryptocurrency space, particularly Bitcoin and cryptography and cypherpunk movement, you need to know who David Chaum is. He's the godfather of cryptocurrency, and he is also the inventor of XX Network. Now guys, I'm working on a project called as Project Talk, and I'm planning to implement XX Network along with T.io and quite a lot of others. If you do want to support my idea, listen to my podcast on the 4th of November, where I discuss everything about Project Talk in the Metaverse Everything podcast. Now going back to Project Tourbillon, David Chaum, the godfather of cryptography, in research with Thomas Morse, aims to reconcile trade-offs by combining proven technologies such as blind signatures and mixed networks with the latest research on cryptography and central bank digital design. And the prototype will be ready most likely by mid-2023. So looks like they're currently working with the Bank of International Settlement. And when you talk about central bank digital currencies, you're under the notion that they're going to be a massive threat to freedom and quite a lot more. But listen guys, if central bank digital currencies work on zero knowledge proof and something that David Chaum is working on, that is blind signatures and mixed networks, it does take care of privacy protocols as well. What I'm going to be doing is this Friday, I'm going to be releasing a standalone episode on central bank digital currencies. I'm going to be doing it at a very basic level, giving you guys a total understanding of what central bank digital currencies are, the different types of central bank digital currencies. I'm also going to be comparing it with Bitcoin, and we'll also talk a little bit about Project Tourbillon. But you need to remember that this project is not ready yet, and most likely it's going to be out by mid-2023. Now, Project Tourbillon is a prototype CBDC, and they're focusing on cyber resilience, scalability, and privacy. Now, with central bank digital currencies focusing on privacy, that would be great, and it solves the whole unbanking problem, and it also offers privacy. But my biggest question is, could it be a threat to Ripple? And what about stablecoins such as Tether.to USDT, Circle USD, and Binance USD? Why would you want to use these stablecoins when there is central bank digital currencies which are also offering privacy? So CBDCs with privacy focus is definitely going to be a massive game changer. Now guys, the next thing what I'd like to share is some points once again regarding FTX exchange, but the key message is when you're looking at information, please do not blindly believe what you're reading. A lot of incorrect information in LinkedIn is being circulated by so-called LinkedIn experts. Now, a lot of people are posting articles on LinkedIn, and I'm going through their profile, and to be honest guys, they are not even working in the cryptocurrency space, but they do have quite a lot of followers, and people who are following these individuals are blindly trusting what they are writing or typing, and they're commenting that this is brilliant, and they are blaming FTX exchange and quite a lot more. So my key message is, when you're looking at any information and FTX exchange, because that is the talk right now, make sure that you look at information from first source. Now, Bankman Fried did move from Bankman to Bankrupt in just a matter of 3 days, because on the 7th of November, before the whole FTX and Binance drama and the CoinDesk drama, they did actually tweet, "We have one of the highest revenue profit valuations per employees as a company." So go through FTX exchange Twitter account and read through the tweet before the 7th. And on the 6th of November, they were showing the office spaces which they hired in Japan and quite a lot of other more. And surprisingly, on the 11th of November, the final tweet says that FTX has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy for its more than 130 companies, including FTX.com, Alameda Research, and FTX US, quite a lot more. And guys, listen, if you've been following my podcast since a very long time, I've never been a massive advocate of Sam Bankman-Fried. You can listen to my podcast going to 2020. As a matter of fact, the day Solana protocol did reach an all-time high, I did make a comment on a couple of LinkedIn profiles stating that the reason Solana project has gone up is because of Sam Bankman-Fried, and he did acquire quite a lot of Solana. Now, the price is going up sounds great, but you need to understand why that thing has gone up. So any individual having so much of say in any protocol is not ideal. This also goes back to my point on Cardano. Look, I'm a massive fan of Cardano as a protocol. But what happens, guys, if let's say Charles Hoskinson does decide that he's no longer a supporter of Cardano, and if he just tweets something negative about Cardano, what happens to the price of Cardano? Now, unfortunately, these things should not happen when you talk about open blockchain protocols. No individual or entities should be in a position to make so much of an impact. Now, the whole movement of separation and money of the state will take a couple of decades, but in the meantime, we need to be extra vigilant, do our own research. Now, regarding FTX exchange, what I'd really urge you to do is go to CoinDesk, read through the articles in a chronological order. Then you would get a thorough understanding of what is going on regarding FTX exchange. Another report which I saw on LinkedIn, which actually said that I do not read any Twitter, and he's given up all his information based on his own understanding. And believe it or not, guys, 9 out of 10 things that he mentions were completely wrong. And I did actually tell him that all the information is available on Twitter. And then when he looked at Twitter information, and then he agreed, and he did actually mention that maybe I should have changed a couple of things in the comments. So when you're looking at any information, even mainstream media, I would really recommend to avoid looking at it, because when you talk about FTX exchange, the whole drama started because of an article in CoinDesk, and I'm no way associated to CoinDesk. So CoinDesk did publish the inner findings of Alameda Research that stated that they were printing money out of thin air, because of which there was a massive drama and the collapse of FTX exchange. Now, Kevin O'Leary, who is a massive advocate of regulations and Sam Bankman-Fried, was often caught in saying that he does believe in Sam Bankman-Fried and he considers him as a genius. So Kevin O'Leary despite being one of the successful giants and the host of Shark Tank, is definitely not the ideal person so far as cryptocurrencies is concerned. So make sure you do your own research. And guys, because of the FTX drama, a lot of the cryptocurrency exchange has proactively tried to share their own inner findings. Now, one of the biggest, scariest thing is about Crypto.com. Now listen to this, guys, and you tell me what you think of it. Crypto.com says they have accidentally sent 320,000 Ether from Cold Wallet to Gate.io. Now these kind of errors accidentally cannot happen because if you know how public key works, it is next to impossible for such errors to happen. And the details are found in the article which I published in my LinkedIn profile. So what happened was that they sent 320,000 Ether to Gate.io, but some of them found out that this particular transfer should have not gone to the right address. And the CEO comes up and says that he made a mistake. These kinds of mistakes just should not happen. So it looks like Crypto.com is also trying to do something notorious, but the details are still not known. And apart from Crypto.com, a wallet address linked to Huobi Global Exchange was also found transferring 10,000 Ether to Binance and OK deposit wallets soon after they released its snapshot. And guys, listen, this is the power of open blockchain technology, and one individual called Coin Wu pointed out that the transaction on Etherscan, which proves that Huobi had shown 14,858 Ethereum in the latest snapshot, which has since fallen down to 2,463.5 Ether. So what these exchanges are doing because of the whole FTX drama, these exchanges are trying to be proactive and they're showing the proof of keys, but when they are showing the proof of keys, apparently the numbers are not matching. And Crypto.com, I still can't understand how you could accidentally send 320,000 Ether from Cold Wallet to a different address. These addresses, particularly for such a high volume, cannot occur. The CEO actually did say that 320,000 Ether accounts for 80% of its reserves. So I really can't get my head revolved around that. But nonetheless, guys, this is the world of cryptocurrencies. Now, guys, let's talk about two news regarding UAE. But before we move on to two crypto and blockchain news regarding UAE, I have two news regarding obstacle course race in UAE. The first news is about Spartan Race, and they have a massive event in December, the World Championship. And this is the second time they have the World Championship event in Abu Dhabi. And guys, I have a standalone episode with Spartan Race founder Joe Cena talking about Spartan Race NFT. And Sean, who's the Chief Technology Officer, was also in the podcast. And Calvin, who's one of the OGs in the NFT space, was at the podcast as well. So we discussed from a business point of view, why did Spartan Race decide to go ahead and launch its NFT, what were the challenges, and quite a lot more. So please check out those episodes. It is a standalone episode talking more about NFTs and not so much regarding obstacle course race. And the second message is also about obstacle course race and my favorite one, that is Tough Mudder. And listen guys, I'm on a mission to do my 100th Tough Mudder, so check both the messages now. The first message is from Spartan. Now Spartan is a global fitness brand with 10 million strong community. They create transformational events, experiences, products and content to help people, companies and team tear down boundaries and expand what they believe to be possible. From day one, nearly 2 decades ago, they've been champions of human transformation, and they live to help people get outside, eat healthy, and develop habits that lead to a life of constant progress. With families of brands, they push people from every corner of the globe outside the comfort zone and immerse them in a world of tough fitness and elite sports. Now they do this because you can face and overcome adversity head on and your potential is limitless. Now this year in December, in Abu Dhabi, the land of Gazelle, thousands of athletes and spectators will gather at the metropolis in the desert to compete for Spartan immortality. This is a unique opportunity to watch the world's best obstacle course race athletes compete for world championship and have your group conquer the course themselves. The massive event takes place from the 2nd till the 4th of December this year. Now for Spartan World Championship, the ticket details and registration to the programs are mentioned in the links below. Now, if you are into running, if you are into adventure, and if you are in UAE, you definitely need to check this out. And the second news, guys, is about Tough Mudder. Now listen, guys, there are 3 things that I'm extremely passionate about. all three of them have some kind of similarity, that is heavy metal, Bitcoin, and obstacle course race. Now we've looked at the premier obstacle course race event, that is Spartan Race, which is taking place between the 2nd and 4th of December. But the next one that I'd like to discuss is Tough Mudder. Now Tough Mudder is unique, and I did my very first obstacle course race, that was Tough Mudder. And Tough Mudder obstacles are more fun, more adventurous, and it involves a lot of teamwork. And you can also use my promo code, which is George25, for a 25% discount. Now if you are into running, if you are into adventure, if you are into obstacle course race, you definitely need to sign up for this event. So go to the website toughmudderarabia.com, and you can also follow them on Instagram. The Instagram handle is toughmudderarabia. Now since you've taken care of that, let's talk about two news regarding UAE. And in Sharjah, there was, if not one of the biggest events, called the Sharjah International Book Fair. And this is an annual event, but this year they had a knowledge section catering only to cryptocurrencies. Now, to know more information about Sharjah International Book Fair, the website is sibf.com. That is S for Sam, I for India, B for Bravo, F for Frank.com. And Sharjah International Book Fair is a 11-day international book fair held annually in Sharjah, UAE. Its debut edition was launched going back to 1982 under the guidance and patronage of His Highness Dr. Sheikh Sultan bin Mohammed Al Qasimi, the UAE Supreme Council member and ruler of Sharjah. The location is in Expo Center, Sharjah, and there were books on decentralized digital currencies which attracted beginners and traders at the 40th Sharjah International Book Fair in 2022. And Sharjah International Book Fair 2022 is educating visitors on digital currencies with a plethora of titles at the 12-day fair. Now, if you did visit the Sharjah International Book Fair, please mention them in the comments below. Now, as well as discussion workshops on non-fungible tokens and Bitcoins, there were many other events focusing on cryptocurrencies. So definitely brilliant stuff. So there are 4 books, which they take quite a lot of news so far as the Sharjah International Book Fair is concerned in the cryptocurrency world. The first one is Crypto Trader, which is teaching the real-life trades and strategies of successful cryptocurrencies. And this book shows you how author Glenn Goodman made huge profits trading Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, and quite a lot more, so that you can do it too without taking any risks. And Goodman reveals all of his trading strategies, the proven methods, and the rules that made him one of the most followed traders. And that book was available at Sharjah International Book Fair. Another one is called as Crypto for Dummies, and this is a ridiculously famous book. Because listen, everyone knows there's money to be made in cryptocurrency, but it's important to know what you're doing. So this particular book gives a hands-on guide by leading female personal investment expert Kiana Daniel, and gives you what you need to make wise decisions. It also explains how cryptocurrencies work, covers the rewards and risks, and explores the top 100 digital currencies. And in this book, you will learn how to use a cryptocurrency wallet, develop short-term and long-term investment strategies, and quite a lot more. Along with that, there was investing cryptocurrencies, and this is an excellent guide to understanding, extracting, and analyzing blockchain evidence. And expert Nick Fornox demystifies blockchain technologies and shows beginners all groups of blockchain visualization, addresses and transactions, micro-message detections, and quite a lot more. And Bitcoin Billionaires, this is not a guide though or investment book, but an exciting read and financial thriller. And it is based on a true story by Ben Mesrick. And the book actually takes readers on a wild and surprising ride when illuminating a tantalizing economic future. And on November 26, 2017, the American brothers, that is Skylar and Cameron Winklevoss, became the first Bitcoin billionaires. And initially planning to start their careers as venture capitalists, the twins' big bet on cryptocurrencies paid off magnificently. So definitely a brilliant book called Bitcoin Billionaires. And there is another book called as The Promise of Bitcoin, which is written by one of the earliest, most successful cryptocurrency pioneers called Bobby C. Lee. And it comes with compelling arguments of how Bitcoin will transform the global economy and how it can work for you. And he debunks myths and dispels fears surrounding digital currencies, arguing that this rational logical system is superior to traditional monetary system. And the book offers a primer on the best investment strategies in this digital currency world, and the value of which only continues to grow. So all of these books were available at Sharjah International Book Fair, and with more than 1.5 million titles on display at the 44th Sharjah International Book Fair, the 12-day cultural extravaganza had titles for every niche and trend, including cryptocurrencies. Now, unfortunately, I think I should have covered this news much earlier on, so you guys were aware about it and could have attended it. And with cryptocurrencies and blockchain technologies influencing market worldwide, the Sharjah International Book Fair 2022 was educating visitors on digital currencies with a plethora of titles at the 12-day fair, as well as discussions and workshops on NFTs and Bitcoins and many others. So definitely brilliant stuff. And the next newscast that I'm going to be talking about is also discussing how NFTs merges with Jiu-Jitsu and Exports strengthens its partnership with Jiu-Jitsu International Federation. Now listen guys, I'm a massive fan of MMA and UFC in particular, so I was really excited when I found out about this news. So let me try to give some information about this news. The news is Exports strengthens partnership with Jiu-Jitsu International Federation, and Exports once again give all the athletes participating in the event the opportunity to mint and publish their own NFTs. If you want to find out more information about Exports, the website for Exports is x-exports.io. That is E for Alpha, X for X-ray, sports.io. And the Dubai-based fan engagement platform Exports has been the exclusive blockchain partner of the Jiu-Jitsu International Federation, also called as JJIF, since 2019. And the partnership is now ready to move on to the next level following a very successful Jiu-Jitsu 2022 World Championship. And guys, if you're into the world of MMA or Jiu-Jitsu, you should know by now that the fighting capital of the world is Abu Dhabi. And guys, going back to Jiu-Jitsu, over 50% of the athletes participating at the Jiu-Jitsu 2022 World Championship were not only aware of NFTs, but they were also eager to have their own NFTs. And Exports once again give all the athletes participating in the event the opportunity to mint and publish their own NFTs on the newly established Exports marketplace, and fans who registered were also able to enjoy free access to the live stream of the Jiu-Jitsu 2022 World Championship. Now, one idea what I can think of is, let's say if there is a tournament, what Exports could have done is, in the NFT that they release for the winner, you can also mention different categories. Let's say whoever is the winner is also entitled to receive a couple of perks from, let's say, sponsors, from cash giveaways, and quite a lot more. This is just one of the ideas. You can also do the same thing, let's say, as a viewer or a participant. If you were to buy the NFT, you can get certain training sessions from the winner of the Jiu-Jitsu tournament and quite a lot more. And as the exclusive blockchain partner, Exports is also set to play a key role in developing the existing game from Web 2 to Web 3.0 technologies, provided they minted their NFTs on the Exports marketplace, and the gold medalists from this year's Jiu-Jitsu World Championship will become in-game characters in the next game version, which will be released in 2023. So it looks like they already have taken care of that, and the launch of the exclusive NFT series related to the game is also expected to be released soon. And this is the power of NFTs, because you can go ahead and add quite a lot of other things, and we're definitely moving into a world where things are programmable. So that's all for today, guys, on the Crypto and Coffee Update from Blockchain DXB. In case if you have any feedback or suggestions, please drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. Check out my website, that is www.blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my other website, that is area2071.com, that talks everything about Metaverse. And if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now for the next few minutes is going to be an Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So let's kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series. Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB. Listening to the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And remember guys, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. we have Crypto and Coffee Update, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. This is followed by 2 news and information related to Dubai, UAE and Middle East from the cryptocurrency world. And what you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Everything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi and Metaverse. And Nicole asks, will there be such similar collapse such as FTX? Now Nicole, knowing the cryptocurrency industry and knowing the people involved in the cryptocurrency industry, I 100% think so, that this is not the first and neither will it be the last. I do feel that there will be many such instances similar to FTX, probably even worse than FTX, that would happen in the near time. And one of my biggest worries, Nicole, is Tether.to USDT. Look, FTX went bankrupt because they could not show the funding, and the similar thing will happen on Tether.to USDT as well. Because when you talk about Tether.to USDT, they are kind of the outliers so far as stablecoin is concerned. Most of the volume of Tether.to USDT surpasses well over 90% of all stablecoin volumes combined. Now, keeping that thing in mind, Tether.to USDT ideally should have a lot of funds backed by reserves. So right now, I believe they have $66 odd billion worth of stablecoins. So technically speaking and legally speaking, they should have $66 billion. But if you look at the transparency audit, to be honest, it is extremely scary. One thing which I've mentioned several times in my podcast, Nicole, is the very first audit that they did. It was only a pie diagram, which apparently showed they have all the funds. Now, earlier this year, they did hire someone from Italy to show the transparency of the funds. But to be honest, I'm not at all convinced at all. What I would recommend you to do is search for Circle's transparency audit. Look at that information, then look at Tether USDC's transparency volume. The difference is absolutely massive. Now, apart from that, it is also possible that there will be a couple of other exchanges which might collapse as well. Now, I really am not sure how Crypto.com, the CEO, did make such kind of an error. The Crypto.com has been making massive news and headlines all over the world by purchasing stadiums, by doing so many partnerships. But if you look at the volume, it is ridiculously low. So really, I'm not sure how Crypto.com does make so much of money as well. So it's going to be really interesting to see what the future of Crypto.com is. That being said, Nicole, I do feel that Binance is relatively safer, and I'm no way affiliated or associated with Binance. As a matter of fact, I don't even use Binance. But if you look at the research and thoroughly understand what Binance is doing, I do think that they're relatively safe. That being said, Nicole, one thing which I did mention earlier in the podcast as well, that the so-called people experts in LinkedIn are saying that decentralized exchange or DEX is the future forward. Unfortunately, that is not the answer, because DEX could have similar problems as well. What I do think, and I hate to say this, but so far as cryptocurrency exchanges are concerned, regulations are definitely needed. So because they are centralized exchange, because it is a centralized entity, laws and regulations should actually kick in. So you need to have very stringent laws. You need to be showing what your backings are. You need to be showing a certain kind of insurance. If, let's say, the cryptocurrency were to go completely belly up, are you in a position to return funds to the users? And quite a lot more. And to be honest, Nicole, what I do see going forward is there is going to be some really strict rules and regulations. And particularly so far as the regulations are concerned, it's going to be extremely stringent, particularly for cryptocurrency exchanges. And I definitely think that is the way forward. Unfortunately, this whole notion of removing regulations just does not make sense, at least for now. Could that change maybe in the next few years? I definitely am hoping for that. Another thing, Nicole, which always bothers me is people talking about privacy coins. Now, unfortunately, privacy coins are in danger and at the mercy of politicians and rules and regulation once again, because it is very highly possible that governments could issue strict orders to cryptocurrency exchanges to no longer serve privacy-preserving protocols. And that is something which has happened in UAE itself, because in 2015 and 16, you could easily buy, sell Monero. All of a sudden, that thing has completely disappeared. So using privacy-preserving protocols is definitely not the way forward. Now, it's going to be really interesting to see what Project Tourbillon is all about, because central bank digital currencies combined with privacy-preserving protocols could be an absolute game changer and a massive threat to Ripple and stablecoins. So it's going to be really interesting to see what 2023 turns out to be. So that's all for today, guys, on the Ask Me Anything series on Blockchain DXB. In case if you have any feedback or suggestions, please drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com and check out my website, that is www.blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my other website, that is area2071.com, that talks everything about Metaverse. And remember, guys, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. we have Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And how the series of episodes in the Crypto and Coffee at 8 works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE and Middle East, in the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And what you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And guys, if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Thanks so much for listening and have a great day. Bye-bye.